let people, but you'll still know somebody doing the operation. So have the same respect for what we're doing here, because it's no less critical. So can we get that together, brothers and sisters? And shut them phones down, including mine? Thank you. Now, brothers and sisters, I just want to bring a couple of things into perspective. In case you brothers and sisters don't know this yet, most of the Muslims who have a need, they can't eat, they have no place to lay down, they are disenfranchised, they are sick, they are disparaged, they are at risk for social dysfunction, social disease, for depression, abandonment. They will wind up in some Christian organization place. Salvation Army, B'nai B'rith Society, Catholic Relief Services. You just keep naming them. That's where our sisters wind up at. In some little dark, dirty shelters where they might be even molested or their children. And nobody cares about what they're wearing, and nobody cares about what they eat, and nobody cares about their religion whatsoever. How can the Muslim leaders, how can they sleep at night when they themselves did not contribute money to make sure that there was a safe haven for Muslim women? How they sleep at night, I don't know. The Prophet said to us in a well-known hadith, you are not a true believer if you fill your stomachs with food and go to sleep at night and you made no inquiry about your neighbor who is hungry. He didn't say a Muslim lady. He said a neighbor. You are not a true believer who goes to sleep at night with his or her belly full, and you are not concerned, and you did not even inquire about the neighbor who might be hungry. Now here, the neighbor here means Muslim or non-Muslim neighbor. So to prove this point, I always ask a few questions. I want to know, how many Muslims here can honestly say that they can stand up and quote 10 names of a neighbor who lived near them? Just be honest. How many Muslims here can say, I know 10 of my neighbors, and you know their names, or you may know the names of their children? How many Muslims can do that? See, that's what I'm talking about. See? That's our condition. Because Muslims are in America like they are living on their own ethnic island. And beyond their own ethnic group, or beyond their own ideological group, you know, if they're Salafi, or they're Sufi, or they're Shafi, or they're Hanbali, or they're this, or they're that, or they're Asian, or they're African, or they're Arab, or they're Bosnian, or Turkish, or whatever, they don't know nobody beyond that. In fact, they very rarely know very many people even within their own ethnic community. Because this is the way the Muslim world is. And we don't have to guess about it. We used to guess about it. But after traveling to 69 countries around the world and 34 of them being Muslims, I don't have to guess anymore. And being in America hasn't changed the mentality. It's just a new address. The mentality is the same. We only have to see the condition of the Muslim world and look back just what has happened just this year. That Muslims with their scholars, Muslims with their scholars, Muslims with all the Islam and all the history that they got, they have to come out in the streets and die just to get their leaders to give them bread and give them liberty. They have to call America to come in with their troops and bomb and kill just to do what? Get their leaders to give them reasonable amounts of political justice, social justice. Well, in case people don't understand, that in America, if you need bread, if you need a house, if you need social justice, if you need issues addressed, you don't need to come out in the streets. You don't need to come out and shout. You don't need to die. You don't need to face no tank. Nothing like that. Because we're already living in a society where human rights is fundamental. We live in a society where social services is guaranteed everybody. And we're living in a society where even though these are corrupt, misguided, evil, perverted leaders in many cases, still they guarantee the people who live in America basic social services. Is that correct or not? But you go to another society where you've got thousands of ulama who have been Muslims, who's in a society where they've been Muslims for 1,000 or more years. But unfortunately, I can tell you this. Unfortunately and tragically, I can tell you this. That the animal rights in America are more guaranteed and more sophisticated than the human rights in the Muslim world. And you got these people walking around with their long thobes and tall turbans and long beards and long names, and they are authorities and this and authorities and that. Yeah, they ain't no authorities in social justice.